backstretch at Saratoga. This is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report alongside Seth, Merrow, and Anthony Mormino. Day 2 of the 2022 Saratoga meet. It is even more beautiful this morning up here. A nice, something we kind of feel at the end of the meet off, and there's sort of a crispness in the air. I got to figure the dew point was about 45 or something like that because it is glorious right now. Sunny out. Day one, Seth, the first hour, it looked like it was going to be a little dicey, but the rain stopped.
You packed Saratoga history all into one day. Weather, 2-year-olds,
Tony Lucas in the mix. And I was saying to somebody when when Winter's Sun won and paid $89, that could be the high mutual of the meet. We don't have $100 mutuals annually. So 89 is pretty good.
1, 2, 3, 4 favorites and an $89 horse in the mix. Was there 5? 1, 2, 3.
Second, third, fifth.
No, the second on my the sheet isn't marked as a favorite. I don't know.
Oh no, half a chance wasn't the chalk. The chalk was chocolate gelato at 1 to 2. Good
Right. Yeah.
We changed the color scheme for that little entry. That's
so 4 out of 10 favorites, and I was thrilled with the day. I went 4 for 10 and had that $19. We both had that. Both had that $19.
Snows Island. I somehow one winner got us through in the Times Union, so I was grateful for that. I knew the ROI was going to be good. I didn't know one, but you knocked it out of the park. Were you around $40?
36.
That's a
36.
Opening day.
I was.
Where else were
thrilled.
you? That was half. You still got 20. You still got 17 else. Where else did you?
Where did I? Let me. You can talk. I'll pull it up.
Well, I'm
here.
just thinking.
I hit the last race. I know that.
Abusive power. So that got you 25.
I went straight 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So $4.70, $19, $5, and $6 in the finale.
Very nice.
And I'm perfectly happy with the day. Hit a couple of, I was like we were talking yesterday. I was kind of treading lightly, but I had to pick 3 that used that $19 horse. I had the late pick 4, which wasn't that big, but
and as I said, I wish it was possible, but the trifecta player that hit the 6th race with Winter Sun. I want to see what's it like to be. I hope out for the meet like 4 hours in. You're just I'm good. It just got to be it is a tremendous feeling. The few times I've been, I guess the closest for me, as I've said before, is to be out on Breeders' Cup Friday, to realize you're going to the track on Saturday, and it's just, you're in a good spot, let's say. But a terrific day. I think we had, just under 30,000 people?
28, where's the 28,466.
That's pretty good.
That's very good. Yeah,
28,000 and a half. And I've said to people for years, the whole world, the community, and in upstate New York, and when vacations fall, and we're so early in July now, and many people take some time off for July 4th, for Independence Day. So my point is this, that I think it's a tremendous accomplishment to get 28,000 on a Thursday in the early part of the first half of July. I think that's just outstanding. And, after the rains came before the first race, about an hour later, the sun had kind of dominated the landscape, and
it was gorgeous.
The young people were
part of the card was
having a lot of fun. I peered over at the paddock bar, which I am a big fan of. I think is outstanding. And I saw Tom Long put something up on Twitter that I think is a good point. And people have said, what happens if there's some hooligans? And he's like, I've never seen that happen to date yet. There's plenty of spots for hooligans. It just
I
never has
read the
happened
same
at
thing on
Saratoga.
Twitter. Like, what happens? You know, they're near the paddock, and it's like, well, that place was near the paddock the whole time.
Right, it's always been so. I thought that he made a great point that, just because it's elevated now. And it's something I found out yesterday, or discovered, I should say. So my closest friends from Philadelphia were in, and they were on, I don't know what the technical term is, but it's the second floor, back side of the track, and they invited me. We had lunch and, hung out for almost 3 hours together. When you look out towards the paddock bar, you can actually barely see it because of the trees. You could really only see like the left hand 1/8 of it. And I said, well, that's a good job, for people that are worried about how it looks. Because Seth and I had gone over. Seth was doing a radio program with our colleague Steve Bick, and I went over, wanted to see some things. When you're right at it, you're staring at it. I said, but when I was in that, I don't know if they call it the backside turf terrace, whatever, I was like, my goodness, it's completely, shrouded in that big, I don't know if it's an elm or maple tree, etc. But I thought a terrific first day for Naira, for the fans, and everybody.
$120,000 with that $80 plus winner,
right?
$120,000 carryover in the pick 6. The pick 5, yes, as I say, the pick 4 did not include that. I think I got $94 back for that late pick 4, but the pick 5 did include the big price, and that was over $7,000 in the pick 5 carryover. Though again in the pick 6, $120,000. And I think on the human side we have to know every race was won by a different trainer, but Javier Castellano
rolled back the clock.
Off to a good start with 3 winners yesterday.
Yes, he had the 2 in a row. He won the co-feature, the Wilton. We got the mile race. I saw there's no 1 mile race on the dirt today. I saw there is a race at a mile tomorrow on the card. So there's been some discussions about what will be the field size maximum number, but he won. Like you said, he won on the turf. He won on the dirt, and what was his third one? And the first one, a sprint. So he. Rooted, sprinted, and turf. That's about all there is out there.
Kendrick Carmouche got a win, and I saw you had kind of an emotional interview in the winner's circle afterwards because he missed last year, and I remember seeing him downtown at the Principessa Elena Club, which I think again this year is going to have the gumbo. And I should remind you, you can check out, go to the TRF website, Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation. They're having another fundraiser. I think it's at the same place this year, and Kendrick cooks the gumbo. And I think it's coming up next, maybe Monday or Tuesday. Awesome. And I think all of the tickets are pre-sales. So again, go to the TRF website and click on events, and you do it. But last year, I remember Kendrick was there on crutches and cooked up some good gumbo, but missed last year, so I could see why. And after the wire, and so good for him too, getting off to a nice start. Win on opening day.
A lot of bettors are like that too, Kendrick. And I will say this, just all that. There's so much discussion about rides that jockeys give, and I've never been on a horse. I don't see myself ever being on a horse, but I'm telling you, I thought it was a great ride. Because he was so committed to making the move he wanted to move. He never hesitated. He was going to take the overland route, and it was, on the far turn, so he's going to get the worst of it if my geometry class was right on the turn. But he was committed to it. He used a lot of energy, and my last thought was, and I've talked to Richard Migliore about this, because I think many bettors want to see an earlier take command of the race type move, and he once said to me, he goes, that's a great idea. He goes, but you don't know what it's like when you get caught deep in the stretch and you come back to your handlers and they're like, you moved too soon. I'm like, I understand that. But I was like, maybe he will get leg weary inside the 16th pole because he took the overland route. He was committed to almost 3.5 or 4 furlong run, but he had the horse and got it done. And while he was making, I was saying to myself, even if we lose, when you bet how it's we, I'm okay with that.
I am absolutely okay with that.
He took the aggressive, authoritative. If I'm good enough, I'm going to win. Gave every chance to win. And
I would rather have a guy make an early move and just get caught late, as opposed to make the late move and not get up, because that's just totally frustrating.
I'm with you. And a quick story, because I know a couple years ago. Oh, Jesus, no. 24 years ago. That's unbelievable. Corey Nakatani came to New York for the fall meet. I remember Christophe Clement gave him some mounts, and he was very aggressive in the turf races, really trying to get command of them on the turns and everything. And if I remember correctly, he met with very good success for coming in here, and he got out of town pretty quickly. But I like it, and I would not have been upset at all if he had been caught deep, because I thought he gave the horse every chance to win, and the horse was good enough.
Alluded to it earlier. It was Tarabi that won the Wilton out of the chute.
Cherie DeVoe.
Cherie DeVoe, congratulations to her getting a stakes victory on day one. And over on the Schuylerville, it was just Cindy for Eddie Keneally over the Wayne Lucas horse.
You know what
Promise.
surprised me? I don't know if you had a chance to, is how strong a favorite Coach's horse was. I don't know if she was 3 to 5 at one point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, yeah,
on.
for like
somebody
7, 8
walked
minutes.
up to me in the clubhouse.
7,
and
8
was like,
minutes.
Wow,
I was like,
look at the price.
and I had thought the race, I had mentioned this, was, I mean, I liked Janice Joplin. I wasn't concerned about her being a maiden. I thought there was going to be multiple early speed horses. The horses coming out of Parks had shown really good gate speed, and a couple others. And I'm looking up, and Coach's odds on for a while. I look back, and I think she went to 4 to 5, and then even money in 6. But the fans got it out, you know, what I call right. Just because you have the favorites in reverse order, that's getting it right. Just Cindy, though, turned out to be the best, and you know, it was a good race. But I was shocked when I saw the board up there. And I'll tell you, I thought Janice Joplin ran okay. What was she end up being? 14 to 1.
Yes. Yeah. 14
finished
1
third,
ran
right?
third. Yeah.
You know, I mean, she did not threaten the exacta, but you know, she ran well. The other two actually ran better than I thought, which is why Janice Joplin.
And I said yesterday when we were on the show, I said I was going to be interested to see how the morning line played out when the odds went with Just Cindy and Summer Promise. Just Cindy was 5 to 2 as the slight favorite. Summer Promise was 3 to 1, and so the way the odds actually played, and I thought they were probably about that close. I just wasn't sure which would be favored and which wouldn't.
Did somebody? I mean, in a Naira pool, I wonder if somebody have made a huge bet? I mean, or did everybody fall in the same opinion? In a wide open race, everybody fell on Coach
that's what it seems
from the
like.
outside,
Yeah.
and hey, she ran well. She ran second best. So great opening day.
Yeah, absolutely. DePaula play of the day, unless you have any other thoughts.
No, I'm sure I'll run over the time anyways, but I don't have any.
All right, let's head to the DePaula play of the day. That's up next. A little later on, we'll do the dark horse play of the day. So now you get a thought on the day, a couple of thoughts on the day. One maybe more logical than the other. That's hard to say. But up next, DePaula play of the day.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Silverado, just $3.99 a month. Yes, $3.99 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hello everybody, the Brooklyn Cowboy, Kevin Cox here with the DePaula Play of the Day from Saratoga Race Course. We'll be giving you our Play of the Day on Fridays and Sundays throughout the meet. And those who know us best know that we always look for a little bit of value in our selections, and today won't be any different. Also, get used to the fact that we're going to be a little bit statistical in our analysis at times as we utilize the DRF formulator platform quite frequently. We're going to go with the horse in today's third race at Saratoga, the number 1, Your Mission. And by the way, if you see my eyes look down, I'm looking at my computer a little bit. This is a Pletcher-Irad combo, and usually they get bet. But here in this race, we have about 5 horses that are going to go off at lower odds. And a couple of those horses are starting to become that kind of horse. You know, 8, 10 starts where they're starting to look like maybe professional maiden. Although this runner hasn't been seen since December, we took a look at the workout patterns and we saw that he's been steady on the work tab since April, mid-April as a matter of fact, and has not missed a work since. The only time there was a 2-week gap in the works is when shipping from Palm Beach, Florida, up here to the Oklahoma training track, and a couple of works are pretty decent at that. The debut back in November was a sharp one, when placing at 6 to 1, without blinkers, which are now currently a part of the package. Next time out, the wheels came off a little bit, and that was in a December turf event at Aqueduct, pretty much when the season wraps up here. And being this is a New York bred, there was really no reason to continue running this horse down in Florida, as being a $32,000 bred animal, may not have done much down there. But we like that there's no scary drop in here despite the poor running line when last seen. The horse was marooned from the 11 hole that day and went 5 wide, 6 wide on both turns. And comes back gelded and first time Lasix. We have no problems with the one being gelded, as like we said, it's cheaply bred. But the first time Lasix is pretty key because there's a nice formulator angle with it in that regards. Over the last 5 years, according to DRF Formulator, coming off breaks of 100 days or more, on the turf, Pletcher has 9 starts with 4 wins, 2 seconds, and 2 fourths. So in the Superfecta, 8 out of 9 times with 4 wins, 44% win percentage. And the payouts were $17, $13, $9, and $7. So not bad for Pletcher runners to pay that amount. This one is a stakes placed, is a half to a stakes placed runner Kilkea, who had 7 starts, 3 wins, and 3 placings on the turf, banking more than $135,000. So right off the bat, there's good lineage in the family. There's an adjusted buyer from the bow. Now what we do is we look at the buyer speed figures and then we adjust them accordingly depending on when that was earned. Being this one was earned in the 2-year-old year, we add points for maturity. We figure from December to now, July. And then we add points for any weight adjustment or any post adjustment. And now this one is going from the 8 hole from the bow to the 1 hole today. So should sit a snug trip beneath Irad, who's coming off a sensational closing weekend at Belmont, where he somehow managed to win the riding title after being about 5 wins behind coming off a suspension. So we're looking for a good trip from this one, possibly sitting in the pocket the whole way and bursting through a seam late. Like we said, 6-1 on the morning line. You're getting good value. There's good pedigree in the family. There's no scary drop, despite the poor recent effort. And we like the steady work here being shown as well. So once again, that's your mission, our first play of the day of the meet at Saratoga in race 3 at Saratoga Race Course. And we'll be back here on Sunday with another play of the day, sponsored by DePaula Auto.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Equinox, just $259 a month. Yes, $259 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Handicappers Report. That is Kevin Cox with the DePaula play of the day.
I saw him in the clubhouse yesterday. Welcomed him to the
Tall,
team.
right?
Yeah.
Quite tall.
And taller with the hat.
The-
Which you will recognize it when you see him because he's got the hat on.
Okay.
When he's over there
All
every
right.
day. So, and he'll be sitting in with us at some point, or with you maybe on Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, we think. We're going to
do a
kick
little
off the week,
handicapping.
coming off the 2 dark days, which has become the norm the last couple of years. So Wednesday kicks off the full week, and it'll be Wednesday through Sunday the rest of the year, with an additional Monday on Labor Day, which we won't talk about because we have 38 more days of racing before we get to that day.
I don't want to get there too soon.
No, not at all. Especially nowadays because it means it's the end of summer. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Yes, yesterday it was Open Company 2-year-old fillies, which, by the way, this is a friend of mine, and this is a gentleman that I met Ballerina Stakes Day '89 when Chris Antley, by the way, won on like an $89 winner. Proper evidence. We have been friends since. We have actually spent. I spent more Breeders' Cup in his company and his wife's company than anybody else. And he is CJ Thoroughbreds. He won with half a chance.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I
Yes.
saw them tweeted.
Yes.
They tweeted something out
Yes.
about it. Yeah, good for them.
And I met those people, that's like Kentucky Downs people, at the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar. Professional football player Mike Renfro of Dallas. But great job by them. Congratulations. Winning at Saratoga in the winner's circle's got to be special. Well, today is the New York bred 2-year-old filly's chance. Maiden special weights, 5.5 on the dirt.
I have it 6-1, 5-3. Camp Aquila goes out for Tommy Amos. He's very good with first-time starters. This horse has been working down at Churchill. There was nothing in this race. I love these maiden races up at Saratoga, but you look for breeding and connections and whatnot. Some of the races just don't have anything that jumps out the page. But Leia Band is a nice sire. I had the numbers so far this year: 26 first-time starters, 4 wins, 3 seconds, 2 thirds. So can produce some, horses with some early talent, and so I'm going to go in that direction. Again, there was nothing here that pulls me in with a lot of confidence, but Irish Empress in the second spot by Classic Empire. So again, there's maybe a little bit of win early breeding there of interest, and I'm Just Kidding in the third spot for John Kimmel, a runner by Justify that also maybe has a little win early in it. So we'll see. Again, I'm not jumping in with a whole lot of confidence, but I have it 6, 1, 5, and 3 to kick things off.
It'll be interesting to see the way the board goes. We've landed on the same horse, and I think these connections won on opening day last year. The owner's name rings a bell, and Tom Amos, and I think they won on opening day. And it wasn't.
I'm trying to think.
It's like a $7 or $8 winner. I don't know if
I was overdoing Vic's radio show last year, and Joel walked by and was talking a little bit, and that may have been opening day. Even the day after.
I think if they bet this horse, they're live once again. I was surprised how unbelievably strong Tom Amos' stats are with firsts. Not only basically 20 for 90, but $2.50 ROI. It's a tremendous job. So I'll be interested to see how strongly the general public bets the 6, or if there's words out there. I have Lady Mine, who is the veteran in the group, making the third career start for James Chapman. If that name does not ring a bell, he was the first trainer of City Zip before Linda Rice got him. I think maybe James Chapman 2 races down in Kentucky before City Zip came up here. Bernard Springer for Samurai. And for third, I have number 5 also. I'm Just Kidding. And, the young stallion Justify had his stakes winner at Saratoga, Just Cindy. I know that his sire, who, Scat Daddy, died at about 11 years of age, I think. But Scat Daddy was rolling as a stallion. I think I remember that correctly, but I'm Just Kidding from the first racing crop of Justify. So 6, 4, 5 in today's opener.
And I always like to tell the locals, and I just wanted to mention that Blue Streak Racing, our friend Tim McCoy. Well, my friend Tim McCoy, I've known him for quite a while, and had him on the show, last year, was it?
Did he text you?
No, I did not.
Right.
But I don't know whether that says anything one way.
No. I mean, they went to Classic Empire. They got Joel Rosario from the rail, so we'll see. Good luck.
Second race at Saratoga on this Friday afternoon, day number 2. Plain vanilla claimers, $32,000 is the level. 6 furlongs is the trip.
7 in here, 6, 1, 3 for me, and melting snow. I guess I get the Tom Amos daily double going. Tom's 20% for the year. That's good going. But claim it's for 40,000. Comes back at 32 out of the Churchill Downs race. Had been running, I thought, well at Seth's second favorite track in America, Oak Lawn Park. So Tyler Galfilm gets the call, and Melting Snow gets my top pick. 4 second from the rail, number 1 remain anonymous. Brad Cox claimed this horse for 40,000, and this is one of the great things about the stats. I just didn't conceptualize Brad Cox going out and claiming horses, and then I looked down, and he's apparently 2 for 7 off claims, first off the claims. So he doesn't claim horses very often, and sometimes it's things like that. I would like to know the story. Like, what, you don't do this. I mean, is it a friend wanted this horse or what? I just think there's a chance there could be an entertaining story, because obviously with the clients he has, what does he need here? But he dips in, gets Irad Ortiz to ride, and Invaluable is my third pick for Robertino Diodoro, coming off second place finish at Churchill Downs. I thought this does not surprise me at all. We have 5 different horses in here in a field of 7. So 6, 1, 3.
I put Remain Anonymous on top, 1, 2, 4, 7. Because I thought the angle was kind of interesting. It's Brad Cox off a claim down at Churchill and comes up to Saratoga on day 2 to fire in a claiming race. Yes. And Brad Cox, a high percentage guy. And as you know, with a limited sample, high percentage in this category. So I thought intriguing. I'm going to be interested to see 5-2 on the morning line. And given that it's not something he normally does, but it's Brad Cox, I'm intrigued to see where the betting public goes as they get in the game. I'm expecting probably significantly lower than this, I'm thinking, but we shall see.
Oh, yeah.
Customer experience in the second spot for me on some class relief for Rob Falcone that I think could be beneficial on that one. It's one of those drops that you can go either way with. You scratch your chin a little bit because I think it's kind of precipitous. But you look down the page and the horses raced at this level before, just not recently necessarily. So third spot, Buston Bay off the claim, has shown a little bit of ability up at Saratoga in the past, going back to last year. A nice win against Statebred Allowance Company. I think is going to fit nicely here and might appreciate the return to the spa. Second race for me, 1, 2, 4, and 7.
I know Seth likes to throw out the 4 horse and the 7, so basically the 5 is going to be down the road. No, I actually don't. I don't think so in this case, but that's what. In Seth and my position, you often say we have every base covered except the 5, and we'll see how it goes. But I think it's a very evenly matched. I do think one of the things that because we realize our audience grows here, I think it's a very evenly match. I think you're going to get the worst of it for the odds for the aforementioned reasons, and that was what led me not to putting it on top. I think David Aragona with the morning line has nailed it, but I think the public is going to have a very strong opinion. I think they're going to fall your way. Third race on the card, we get to the turf, New York State Breds, 3-year-olds and up, maiden special weights. This is on the inner turf course at 1.16 miles.
I went 4, 5, 7, and 6. I just think the Jimmy Bond horse was fun out here today. Once again, where we're located on Clare Court, the Jim Bond barn is down the street, and they'll walk their horses up and walk.
If you got here a little earlier, you'd see the whole flotilla.
I saw just before I was standing out there, and I saw about 8 of them come walking by, and it's fun every morning.
Just so people know, on Wednesday we did a program up here. I pull into the lot. Seth's not only here, he's out of his car. He's standing. He's talking, indicating he's been here for at least 5 minutes. I'm like, do I have the wrong time? But the last 2 days, he's back on Seth Merrow time, coming straight. Today was better. Yesterday, I'm like, opening day. Do you want to tell the story?
Yesterday, I almost booted it. I was home working on the computer, and I was going on Wednesday time, where we started at 10. And I'm just leisurely working at the computer, looking at the clock, thinking, I got a little time to work on the computer before I take the shower. And then about 10 minutes later, I thought, wait a minute, it's 9 o'clock today.
All right, so who do you like?
I have, again, 4, 5, 7, and 6. And again, Jim Bond's horse, Biondi. I just think this horse has a chance to steal a race. I think this horse may go out and just take him all the way around. I will note, there's a little trip note after the last race bump start. I pulled up the replay. I would say that was a modest bump. I don't know whether I'm giving any, credit to, there was a
more like a brush.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it wasn't much. So as I say, I'm not giving really any extra credit there, but I do think with the early speed could be interesting. Blinkers come off today. I found that a little bit intriguing though, but I'll go there. Lightly raced, we'll see. Biondi on top for me. Mr. Connecticut in the second spot. As I understand it, Acacia Courtney, who was Miss Connecticut, helped name this one. So the name.
You think so with the connection?
The name is kind of clever. Yeah, exactly. The Christophe Clement runner, Mr. Connecticut.
I saw the newlyweds yesterday. I mean, I don't know them personally, but I know who they are, and I saw them. They won a race, right?
I think.
Front end on the turf.
I think Miguel was kind of based up here. With string before and after the meet a little bit too.
There's a lot worse places to be stationed in life than Saratoga in the spring, summer, fall.
But Mr. Connecticut overall, again, I have the buyers. The buyers are a tool in the toolbox, but in a situation like this where most of the numbers have a pretty consistent edge over this bunch. Maybe not the last one as much, but I think that they tried the blinkers last time. Blinkers come back up. Maybe we'll get back to those better numbers. I think Mr. Connecticut is very much a player, and Bernardino in the third spot for Phil Serpy off the seasonal debut that I think will be a foundation to move forward from, and the back numbers tend to be okay and competitive in here. In the third, I have a 4, 5, 7, and 6.
I thought, I thought the 1, the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 6 were all kind of like in the strong mix. The 7 is an outsider to that group. I think I'm going to receive better than 6 to 1, but I just want to run down the horse's baseball card, if you will, in an abbreviated way. Bernardino, who is a 7-year-old, has run 8 times. So here you go. Once in 2018, once in 2019, twice in 2020, 3 times in 2021, and this will be the second start of the year. So I don't think we have to ask Mr. Serpy, who won last year's Queen's Plate, if this horse's level of soundness, it's right there in the charts. But I thought that if you have 3 or 4 horses that you think are very competitive, I wanted an outsider, and this is where I went. And I like the comeback race at 8-1. We can move forward off of that. You touched on Mr. Connecticut, his range of races, and the last one was less. But, and I'm saying this is the case, but I mentioned yesterday how you take the non-turf season off. He had the comeback race. That was his normal race, then a little bit less, and now he's in position to go forward. That's just supposition on my part, but I'm never surprised after a good effort on the return that the next one, and I've coined it years ago, and this really has to do with second-time starters. It's the less well angle. They come back at 1/6 the price, and they run less well than a debut that's better than odds. For second, I have Biondi. I don't know if Jimmy Bond is a big swimming aficionado. I'll ask him or his bride later, but Matt Biondi was a great swimmer when we had much more brown hair. Seth, they take the blinkers off, which is interesting because I'd like to know if it's you think the horse has matured into not needing him, or you're just trying something.
No, I'm right with you.
That's
there.
the question.
The blinkers off is a little concerning.
Those 2 answers, and then for third, Whistler's Honor, who I think could better this rating. The second start of the career this year, better than the first. 7-4-3 in what I think is a very, very competitive turf race.
Absolutely.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more from Saratoga.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Come on!
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to CapitalOTBBet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. As you can see, it's time now for the Dark Horse Play of the Day, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga Springs, their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga. As I said yesterday, if you're coming up to the track and you're heading downtown for any reason, give it a stop. You'll have a lot of fun browsing through each of those stores, and I highly recommend it. But the Dark Horse Mercantile sponsoring the Dark Horse Play of the Day this year. Their slogan, the smart bet is always the Dark Horse. It only takes one upset to make history. Yesterday was kind of frustrating because my Dark Horse,
Winter Sun.
Exactly, and that was the race that I used my Dark Horse. And I wasn't anticipating the price on the winner. I would have made that the Dark Horse, but we'll see. Today my Dark Horse is actually my top pick in race number 5. We got 8-1 on the morning line of Lord at War. Goes out for
Lord
Marquez.
at War.
Lord of War.
Okay,
Lord of War. Yeah, you're right.
I thought I had a 1985 flashback
Lord
here.
of War. The number 9 horse in race number 5, Marquez Trainee, that comes off of a couple of starts in New York that finishing position-wise weren't much, but they were in starter allowance company. You go down the page, though, this horse has tried some claiming company before. I think dropping back in for the tag will move this horse forward. The numbers, again, the last couple of races finishing position wasn't much, but the numbers match up very nicely with this group. So I'm looking for the Cassie Trainee with Dylan Davis on board to benefit from the class move today. We're looking at 8-1 on the morning line. That's dark horse territory to me. You're getting $18, and I will take that to the bank if we wind up getting that, and I think we will get some value there. So for me, in race number 5, number 9, Lord of War, today's dark horse play of the day. And again, thanks to everybody down at the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga for their sponsorship of the dark horse play of the day.
I think many people would be surprised to learn that the attendance record at Santa Anita was set on Lord of War's Big Cap Day. I think that would surprise many people that it's not the Santa Anita Derby, it's never been the Breeders' Cup, but the Big Cap in early March, and at 85, Lord of War with Willie Shoemaker in the saddle. I think north of 80,000 people at Santa Anita.
I mean,
for that.
Folks may not remember the Big Cap was the Big Cap at one point. It's not quite.
Dubai World Cup put a stake in that heart.
4th race today at Saratoga. Maiden 20 claimers going 6 furlongs.
I'm interested to see who you have here. 6-7-1 for me, and just like this, Brad Cox's runner, adding blinkers, second career start, Lasix today, debuted going a mile. Now the offspring of Candy Ride gets to the dirt, shortens up. 9-2 on the morning line. Debuted for a tag of 75, drops way down to 20. Certainly taking a risk with that, for a sale sign around the neck. For second, number 7, Suppressor, making the 13th career start, but has hit the board in half of the previous 12. For third, number 1, Actualize, who's 8-5 on the morning line. And I'm not so sure how often I've come across this set, but 5 dirt races in the career, has yet to find a fast one. It's very hard to run 5 consecutive races of the dirt. Hasn't won yet, and it's 8-5. And I thought about this yesterday when Snow's Island beat Remote, and yes, those horses win a lot, but they've, I just, as a public handicapper in this seat, I always feel confident betting against them. And I have to say, I'm almost in the same boat with Actualized today, who's 8-5 on the morning line, runs for a tag for the second time, but just not the type of horse I want.
The one I took a shot against yesterday, I felt pretty good, was Chocolate Gelato, who had some buzz.
Well, he certainly did. At 1-2, I'm looking to jump off.
I said yesterday, looking up the breeding, the siblings just weren't enough to get excited about.
Well, what's
so
funny was,
kind of
and in that race
there.
also, kind of, got beat by the only veteran in the race won the race, so he might have some promise. And I know we got the time. One of the things I always say is, I always hope people know, at 1-2, I want no part of Chocolate Gelato.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking them going forward either, because they paid a lot of money and they benefit from the
be
experience.
Okay.
But it was just one of those, looking at the siblings and what
that's
they
a good
did
job.
to have him fire first time out was a little bit. For me, I have it 4, 1, 7, and 6. I'm going to use Inspired Mischief. They paid a lot of money for this horse, $450,000. Start number 2, they're coming for 20. So this is one of those where you could go either way. But I think these connections just get realistic. And let's go up to Saratoga, maybe get a win. If somebody wants to take the horse, that's okay. There were 2 other siblings who are combined 0 for 1. So again, I could have gone either way with this one, but given the connections, I think maybe they're just being realistic and they can afford to come up and get a win and lose the horse.
It'll be interesting between our 2 top picks that are clearly on the accountant side of the ledger, exactly. Going
because they're the kind that again, up here at Saratoga, I think we're being watched by a lot of people who are new to the game, and if you're new to the game, these are the kind that can win by a city block or lose by a city block when they make these kind of drops. But Actualize in the second spot for me, again, as you say, comes in with some experience, has fired some numbers that match up very, very well with this bunch. And then in the third spot, Suppressor, also an experienced runner, but comes in off a decent little third place finish last time that I think kind of fits with this group. So for me in the fourth, 4, 1, 7, and 6.
And we move to the fifth race. We have 3-year-olds and up in for 35. Non-winners to 2 races a lifetime on the Mellon Turf Course or the outer at 1.16 miles.
This does kick off the Pick 6, and don't forget today there's a $120,000 carryover in the Pick 6. If you're a Pick 6 player, you're going to want to jump in today. I have it 9, 6, 4, and 10. I thought the 5 was also interesting. The 5 Jewel Stone was originally in my mix. I can see in your mix.
6?
I'm not arguing against the 5 at all, but I put Lord of War on top for all the reasons I talked about. Dark horse play of the day. I think the move into for the tag today going to be very beneficial for the Mark Casse Gary Barber runner, and I'm absolutely happy with the 8-to-1 price. Seizing the Dream, 12-to-1 for Barkley Tag. I looked at the morning line and I thought, this horse to me looks really competitive in this race. Dropped in for a tag last time off a little bit of a layoff, ran 5th, but did it with a number that matches up very well with this bunch. You know, relatively likely race with only the 7 starts in the career. A little bit of a workout coming into this. I thought there were a lot of things to like, and the 12-to-1 price is one of them. Valley Shade, 15-to-1 on the morning line. This one, I debated making this the dark horse. This is an angle I like quite a bit, and watch at the meet. I've been following this angle for years, and it doesn't hit every time, but it still hits even after having picked up on it years and years ago. State bred allowance into open claimer. And a lot of times you can get a price on horses like these, and they just move into a class level where they can wake up. And, you know, these days with conditional claimers, the move can be even a little more potent. So we're looking at 15-to-1 with an angle I like quite a bit from Rudy Rodriguez and the Hot Apprentice on board as well. It's going to be fun to see what Gomez can do with this meet, because the Jockey Colony is tough, but has Angel Cordero behind him, so you would expect he'll do okay. But in the 5th race for me, I have some prices, and I'm going to play around the exactas and whatnot, but I have it 9, 6, 4, and 10.
There's 12 horses in the main body of this race. Seth and I have touched on 6 of them as you're looking at the chicklets. I'm bailout number 7 for Jeffrey Englehart. What I'm going to say is really more of a big picture idea, and that is when you look at a race, for me, when I look at a race for 20 minutes and nothing is coming to me as a public handicapper, I have to pick every race. My rule is you can not be anywhere near the favorite. That horse should have been, like, when I pick against the favorite, I'm lining up the favorite's ability. It's only the price that drives me away. I thought this is as wide open race. I said, I'm glad we have 6 different horses.
And I'll say, as I'm looking, David Aragona made the morning line favorite 4-to-1.
Yeah.
So he's acknowledging.
About the highest, anywhere you will find. When it's wide open, it doesn't come to you. Go for a price. And this horse is trying this condition for the first time. Broke the maiden 2 races back. Tried starter allowance. We didn't have starter allowance races in our youth. They can be unbelievably tough because of the nature of the condition. So this, in many circumstances, Jeffrey Englehart is probably saying this would have been the next logical step. I didn't need that starter allowance race. 7, 5, 12.
Yeah. And,
good luck if you're singling this horse in the horizontal.
I was about to say, not an easy way to start that Pick 6 carryover.
And this is the case where you talk about, I'd love to talk to Pick 6 players and like, well, how do you go after this card? Even with the attractive nature of the carryover.
Although they do get, I don't know, in a race like this where I was going to say they do get the advantage of being able to look at the odds.
That's not going to help here.
I was going to say, this race like that, I'm not sure.
There's enough on the paper for all the runners.
Exactly. 6 race at Saratoga, optional claimer, state bred optional claimer, non-winners 2, other than 8.5 furlongs on the grass.
7, 5, 4. I like Roos in here. See, Seth has him for second. Dylan Davis has the mount. Has had a steady performance in 3 starts this year. Draws a good post position for Tim Hills. I'm imagining we're going to be forwardly placed. I'll take the 7 on top for second. Number 5, Straw into Gold, Don't We Wish, making the 3rd start of the meet, of the year, excuse me. That'd be amazing. 3rd start in 2 days. Back-to-back second places for Christophe Clement barn this year. Obviously, Christophe Clement didn't take long to get off the duck. And for 3rd, number 4, 7, 5, 4 in the 6th.
All right, I have a mistake. I have the 5 on top. That's my fault. I sent in the wrong numbers. But I have a 5, 7, 9, and 2. I put Strawn to Gold on top. So I have your top two flip-flop, actually. So, again, that's my fault. I sent in the wrong numbers.
So last race we had nothing in common. Here we have the exact.
Strawn to Gold on top for me, though, for Christophe Clement. Same things you said. I'm just flipping them up. Great Nuts Warrior for Chad Brown. I think in the second start of the season, number 9 horse can be very dangerous, and I'll just toss out in the 4th spot. Always like to root for the locals, and bar 14, Eddie Epps Racing. Always like
Saw
to
him yesterday.
And when I had him on last year, he talked about hanging out with you back in the day and watching the races. Eddie Fazone of Eddie Epps.
Tremendous.
And I ran into one of the partners yesterday as well, and they were saying, yeah, expecting a nice run from bar 14. Good. And I said, man, you guys, for a small operation, you guys are doing
He's a sharp guy.
very well. So, again, like to root for them, have it down in the 4th spot. Wouldn't be surprised to see good performance. 5, 7, 9, and 2.
All right, take a quick break. When we come back, the late pick 4.
It only takes one upset to make history, especially in Saratoga, the graveyard of champions, where the dark horse can overcome the odds, defeating the favorites and wowing the crowds. The smart bet is always the dark horse.
Keen Ice has got him! Keen Ice has won the Travers over American Phail in a dramatic
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player? To have a better knowledge of the game? To be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're up to race number 7, kicking off the pick 4. We have claimers in for 25, non-winners of 3 lifetime. Once around the dirt, mile and 8.
4, 1, 3, and 5. I put American Pure on top. Again, we talked a little bit about it earlier. Sometimes you get a drop where you scratch your chin a little bit and you can go either way with. This one is taking kind of a precipitous drop off what this horse has been facing previously. It's a Brad Cox trainee coming up from Ellis Park and getting that drop. The wins 2 and 3 back say that this is probably a pretty good horse, so that they tried to, and you would have to assume somebody's, given that those races 2 and 3 back, somebody's going to jump in and take this one. But off the talent shown in those 2 races, I had to go in this direction. But as I say, I could see taking a little stand against and questioning the situation. Corkman in the 2nd spot. Number-wise, consistently, this horse tosses out buyers that match up really, really well with this bunch. Is competitive in and around this level over the last few starts. And then 6% goes out for Jeremiah Engelhardt. Maybe in against a little bit stiffer last time. 2 starts back, though, was in for a tag. Conditional claiming tag. Ran a pretty good second with a very solid number. There are good numbers down the page. Comes in with a bullet workout. I have this horse down in the 3rd spot. I wouldn't be shocked to see this horse outperform the position I have the runner in. However, I have it 4, 1, 3, and 5.
I'm 5, 4, 8. I'm just thinking that Willie Sutton will be at this level, will be forwardly placed. I think the 8, Don't Be Late, is the other early speed in this race, along with the 6. And I think they're going to have an advantage here. I thought Willie Sutton just is coming out of much tougher races. For second, American Pure for Brad Cox and Irad Ortiz. Won a couple races in a row before catching slop. And then number 8, Don't Be Late for David Donk. Do you recognize those connections at all? Probably not. You're not. But in my opinion...
Aaron's, right?
No.
Didn't they have Aaron's?
Swing and a miss.
No.
Should have been the 1998 2-year-old champion. I don't care that he was a turf horse, but Incurable Optimist was theirs. And he was...
New York bred?
Yes. Yeah. He was tremendous as a 2-year-old on the turf. Got injured. He was going to try, I think, the Irish 2000 Guineas for David Donk. His debut here on turf was unbelievable.
The 8th at Saratoga Stakes action, the Coronation Cup, $150,000 up for grabs. 3-year-old fillies going quick 5.5.
And I know it's not as memorable, but it was as good as Big Browns, in my opinion. 6-3-7 in the Coronation Cup. Christophe Clement sends out the 6 after the win last year in the debut, exclusively in stakes action. Comes out of a loss at Laurel, going 5.5 as the beaten favorite. Had Lasix on that afternoon for the first time. For second, number 2, Twilight Gleaming. Wesley Ward tries to win on back-to-back days with the 2-1 morning line favorite, coming off a 3-10 victory in stakes action at Churchill Downs. And for third, Static Fire, making the 3rd career start. First time not breaking for the rail. Tries to make it 3 for 3. Won off the long September layoff. Came back in May for Brian Lynch. 6-3-7 in the Coronation Cup.
Yeah, excuse my looking away, but I double-checked Twitter because yesterday I had Mike Welch on it. He speculated that maybe Twilight Gleaming would come out. It seems like from Twitter, double-check, but it seems like from Twitter this morning that's going to be the case.
Okay.
Twilight Gleaming.
I like my top pick even more now.
Out. So I had Twilight Gleaming on top. I will mention that again since it's not official. I have a 3, 11, 1, and 7. I'll pull the 9 in if Twilight Gleaming does come out, though. Twilight Gleaming has the edge if in, but if Scratch Marissa's Lady moves up, a bona fide sprinter, just not a bona fide turf sprinter. I do think that's a specialty, but this one does have some nice starts over the synthetic at Turfway. I think that bodes well for the move to grass. Second slot, actually Marissa's Lady will be in the second slot from here on the move up now. Empress Tiger becomes my top pick, the 11. Jonathan Thomas, runner for Augusta. I mentioned yesterday, I've liked the Augustan runners up here at Saratoga for quite a while. This one comes in from a synthetic start at Woodbine, career debut, and a solid win. So another one that's maybe a question mark with the surface, but with these connections coming up to Saratoga, I'll tilt in that direction. And then, as I say, Marissa's Lady, 3rd spot for me, Static Fire. Debuted and won on the turf last year right here at Saratoga, then was off until the end of May down at Churchill on the dirt and won. This horse is very, very intriguing to me, and I think becomes interesting maybe at a little bit of a price. There's 8-1 on the morning line, although the morning line is going to juggle up a little bit given the probable short price is perhaps out. But I have it 3, 11, 1, and 7, as I say. If the 3 goes, pull the 9 into the mix.
9th race on the card. 4-year-olds and up, a mile on the inner turf course. The Forbidden Apple, who was owned by Arthur Appleton, I believe. Always one of my favorite owners. Silks had the white, the 2 red braces, but the apple right on the back.
I have it 1, 3, 8, and 10. I'll put Set Piece on top. Just comes out of that really nice performance down at Pimlico. Second start of the season. Has a string of triple-digit buyers. 5 of the last 6 races, and just looks to have the edge in here to me. Mira Mission, though, comes in off his own string of triple digits. Nice close-up finish last time in the Turf Classic on Derby weekend down at Churchill. So a best effort puts these 2 pretty close, but I give the edge to Set Piece in the 3rd slot. A Tone, nice try in the Maker's Mark, 2 starts back. And then followed up last time running 3rd to Set Piece. I just think even a best effort maybe puts this one a little bit behind the top 2. For me, 1, 3, 8, and 10.
I think a Tone gets a different trip today.
Okay.
And I that's why I have a Tone on top. I'm envisioning actually a very attractive trip in here in a race that's 4, 5, 6 deep. I mean, this is a terrific grade 3. This is better than a grade 3, the Forbidden Apple. I just thought with Flavien Prat on the outside listed that a tone is going to sit a trip that has been more successful for him in the past, and it needs to be because this is a deep field. I have Public Sector underneath. Seth doesn't have them on the list. The third start of the year, improved off the poker, and then Mirror Mission for third. But this is really a grade 2 and a terrifically deep grade 2 in my opinion. 8-7-3 in this year's Forbidden Apple.
We'll wrap it up this evening, just about 6:15. The finale, race number 10, State Bred Optional Claimers, non-winners of 2, 6.5 furlongs.
197, ladies and gentlemen, for me, and number 1 is Pretty Clever. Breaking from the rail, which is not always easy to do, but I think a couple horses won from the number 1 post position yesterday, but just got beat at 7-1 most recently at this level, but that was only the second try at this level. So Kendrick Carmouche been aboard lately, and the winner yesterday for many of us for second. On the outside, the other side of the starting gate, number 9, she's a wild joker, gets Lasix for the first time, second start of the year, first time at this level. Why? Because after breaking the maiden, has run exclusively in stakes races, did win in the slop at Finger Lakes last autumn for third, number 7, Thinking It Over for Ray Handel. Tries this level for the first time after winning at 5-1 on May 28th. So 197 in the finale. You see it completely different. So here we have 67% of the field covered. We had 50% covered in the turf race. We have 2/3 of the field covered.
And I actually have 5 selections, and none of those are yours. I have a 2, 3, 6, 8, and I think the 4 is interesting.
Obviously, the 197 were not interesting at all. You don't have me in the top 6. You don't have me in the top 5.
Now I'm going to be intrigued. So I put Rosa Valache on top. Claim 2 back for 80. Then went in an optional claimer, wasn't in for the tag, now comes back for 45. I just think overall, and pretty consistently, other than maybe the last race where the horse was the beaten favorite with a reduced number.
I have to interrupt you. You said you have 5 and it's not me. So who is the horse that is completely left out?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4. For the 5 is left out, right?
The 5 is the only one we don't have covered.
So again, down the road.
Down the road. I mean, Seth went 5 deep. He's tossed mine.
But again, we will see. That maybe the last race is indicative of something, but I'm going to think Rosa Valache maybe bounces back to a better performance. Cali Magic in the second spot for Chris Engelhardt. I just think this horse is in pretty good form and probably a cozy fit with this bunch. And Mosienko in the third spot. This one could be interesting at 12-1. I thought the race 2 back was pretty good. Last time tried this company and it wasn't quite as good, but I think a best effort from this horse puts the racehorse right in the mix, and I was intrigued that Luis Saez.
We have them all in the mix with the 5.
So 2, 3,
that's
6,
unreal.
and 8. Yeah.
But honestly, that's, and what's funny is just like
so
we don't talk before it or anything, but it's one of the things that makes horse racing so great.
120K up for grabs in the pick 6, and the
front
first leg
side and the back side. I'll be watching, and I'll tell you, the pools yesterday were gigantic. The pick 5, a friend of mine texted me and was like, "Oh my goodness!" And then, I would not have been aware of it, but when there is a one-day carryover of 120,000 in the pick 6, that's the pick 6 has been kind of beaten up by the pick 5 by the players, but that was when I heard that 120,000. Are you having Joe Clancy on later?
Joe's on. Joe's up first. Brian Nadeau second. John Signor third. It's a knockout show.
I tell you one thing. If I don't know if he can hear me, but you can let Joe Clancy know that I was the one on Twitter that let him know that his brother won the inaugural jump race at Colonial Downs because he tweeted back. I did not know that. I think, but Sean Clancy won the first jump race at Colonial many years ago. They just opened up the other day also.
But, I ran into Bill Gallo from the National
So Brian Nadeau got subpoenaed out of the state of Florida?
That's right. He's in town for a few days, so we've got him over here.
Well, great job. I go today, he stays. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a beautiful day. If you get a chance, come on up. The racing is outstanding. Day 2 for 2022.